Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy DBfanboy, and in this video we're going to be talking about an interview that was posted on the official Dragon Ball website with the Dragon Ball Super Series director Ryota Nakamura and the producer Satoru Takami on the Universal Survival arc. Now, we don't have a fully translated version of the interview just yet, but I'm sure that it will be on Kanzenshu very soon. But what we do have is a summary of everything pretty much said about Toriyama's original draft for the arc, thanks to Herms98 over on Twitter. So make sure you guys go stop by over there, show your boy some love, because he really deserves it for all the work that he does for this community. Thanks again, Herms. Now, let's get into some of these bullet points. Now, there's pretty much just, some cool stuff that we didn't know before that we now know thanks to these bullet points, but there's a couple things at the very end that are really cool and very interesting, and I will get to those when we get to it. But let's start off with this first piece. It says, Toriyama's initial proposal outlined the idea of 80 people fighting in a jumble and included several character design images, plus the design for the tournament arena. It says Toriyama first drew the designs for Jiren, Toppo, and Dispo, and Herms later said that he forgot to add Kitella to that list. So those were the first 4 characters that he designed for this tournament, which is pretty interesting that he started off with those 4. That's pretty weird. I mean, you would think that since he was kind of focusing on Universe 11 team members that he would start with the Universe 11 God. So maybe, I didn't read the interview because like I said, I don't have a translated version. So maybe he goes more in depth about why he chose to start with Kitella instead of starting with Belmod as his first designs. But I don't know, maybe he originally planned for Kitella to be the Universe 11 God. Not really sure. But let's move on. So we have Toriyama's original draft lacked any indication of Jiren's personality, so the anime staff planned on making him a talkative character. However, when they suggested this to Toriyama, he replied that Jiren is a character who doesn't speak. It was at this point that Toriyama sent them the backstory that Jiren's parents and martial arts master were killed. And as a result, Toppo inherited the anime staff original plans for Jiren's personality, which is why he talks a lot about justice all the time. So we were pretty much this close to having a justice the fuck out Jiren, which would have been pretty weird to see him dabbing on the haters all the time and, just nonstop talking about justice. So, I don't know. I think the way that Toriyama had it planned really made sense. I like it a lot more, especially, for Jiren being the last one standing. It really made him seem a lot more powerful and a lot more mysterious. So I'm really glad that they went with that route. I saw a lot of people, with the opposite reaction. They wanted Toppo to be the serious dude and Jiren to be more about justice since his family was murdered. You would think that he'd be like a Batman kind of dude where he just wants justice. He wants to punish people for doing wrong. And not to mention with Toppo being a candidate for God of Destruction, you would expect him to not really care about justice and to be a lot more of the strong silent type, which leads to the next bullet point where it says Toppo being a candidate of God for a candidate for God of Destruction was included in Toriyama's draft. So Toriyama already planned for Toppo to be a candidate for God of Destruction. So, I don't think it was really Toriyama's plan to have him be all talkative like that either. I think, the writing team was just like, well, we worked on having one of these characters be this way. We might as well give it to Toppo. And it kind of worked out because it really made it a lot more grand when Toppo made that transition from I'm going to be all about justice to F it, I'm going to be God of Destruction now because I need to do what it takes to save my universe. So it was a good choice, I guess. Granted, I think they overdid it with the justice, but it worked out in the end. I liked it. So let's move on. It says the staff wondered how to handle Dispo's character, and his cocky personality was only decided upon once Ben Shimada was cast in the role. So it's pretty interesting to think of what Dispo's character would have been like if they would have went with a different cast. I couldn't really picture him having any other kind of personality just because usually when you look at, these superhero type teams like this, they always, kind of have like certain roles that every member has to fill. Like they have the strong silent type, which would be the Jiren, and then they got the team leader, and then they usually have like the wacky cocky guy, which Dispo fits that role perfectly. So I really wonder what other way they would have had him be. Like, I don't know, maybe you guys can come up with another cool character design for, not design, but personality for Dispo. Let's move on. It says the rest of the Pride Troopers were thought up by the anime staff. I mean, just because they're all pretty much fodder, they really didn't matter. So they all really didn't need personality. Moving on. It says Ribrianne's fat transformed form. That's weird. Transformed form was designed by Toriyama, while the idea of having a cute girl transform into this fat character was added by the anime staff. Now, I wonder if the personality of Ribrianne was actually Toriyama's idea, or if we can go ahead and blame that on the anime staff, because I really hope that Toriyama didn't hate us fans enough to where he would make this annoying character who never shut up about the power of love happen, because we don't deserve that. As much as I love you, Toriyama, I cannot forgive you for giving us Ribrianne like that. If you just designed the way she looked, cool, I'll let it slide. But please don't let it be that you made up that personality for her. Please. But anyways, let's move on to the next point. Now it says neither Caulifla nor Kale were in Toriyama's original draft, which is very interesting. During a conference meeting, the subject of Broly's popularity came up, and so the anime staff created Kale. They made her a girl so that she wouldn't be exactly the same as Broly. Once they showed Kale to Toriyama, he created Caulifla to go along with her. Now, I say this is interesting because you would think that, yeah, I know that they were trying to sell toys and they were trying to do a lot of fan service, but it just seemed like there was a lot more thought put into Caulifla and Kale, especially, you know, when you add them with Kaba, almost like they really wanted to give us a Universe 6 arc where we got to see a lot more of them. So it's very interesting that Toriyama never planned to have those two even be part of it. But moving on, it says Toriyama's original draft included a document describing what happens to the Universe 7 warriors in the tournament from beginning to end. This includes who Piccolo, for instance, loses to, and who survives to the end. The document included all the main points such as the battles between Universe 7 and Universe 11. Toriyama also decided on all 10 members of the Universe 7 team, which includes the surprise of Boo being replaced with Frieza. Now these next couple of things are where stuff really starts to get interesting. Now it says here that as the flow of the story was decided upon, Toriyama came up with the idea of Ultra Instinct, including its name and design as a power-up for Goku that was completely different from Super Saiyan. So it's very interesting because we just assumed that this was the end game the whole time. Ever since Ultra Instinct was first, kind of teased at the revival of F Arc, that this was what everything was building up to, but Toriyama was just winging it. He really just, as, things were coming, but that's what makes him so genius, is that everyone thinks that he has this grandmaster plan, and this dude is just so good at what he does that he's just kind of just rolling with it, and he comes up with these genius things that he's doing. So that's probably one of the bigger shocking things that we learned from this interview. Let's move on. So it says Frieza donating his energy to Goku was not part of Toriyama's original draft. Neither was 18 and Ribrianne's fight over their different differing ideas of love. Now, the Frieza donating his energy thing, that was a pretty cool little touch because that was a nice little throwback to the Namek arc. And, him just kind of returning the favor, kind of mocking Goku. I thought that was a cool little thing that they added, but the whole 18 and Ribrianne fight over the love thing like that, I really could have lived without. Kind of screw you guys for giving Ribrianne more screen time than she needed. You guys should have just eliminated her. I really wish I could see what Toriyama's original draft for that was. Maybe she just would have got taken out and we wouldn't have had an entire episode dedicated to her like that. But enough about Ribrianne. I hate her. I'm so glad she's gone. Now, let's talk about these last couple of things. Now, these things are very, very interesting. Now, it says here that Takami personally thinks that Toriyama might be trying to set up further stories with the ending of the Universe Survival arc. So, we might get hit with a cliffhanger ending, or it just might be a very cool ending that's kind of open-ended to where, it's kind of starting building up the hype again. Everyone's getting back on that whole, this is a hiatus thing, even though it's not a hiatus. Super is definitely ending, but at least we have a little bit confirmation that we might get another series before we reach the end of Z. Maybe even something for after the end of Z. We really have to wait until the end of 131 to know, where we're headed, but this is really, really comforting to know that we might not be done with Dragon Ball just yet. So I, for one, am very excited to see this part of the interview. This really got my juices flowing. A lot of people were really, kind of stuck in their way that Super was done and that we probably won't get another series. And even if we do, it won't be for a very long time, which might be true. Even though they might tease at a new series, it still doesn't mean that we're going to get it anytime soon because, there's going to be a lot of work going into the movie. And I mean, think about it. The manga is nowhere near caught up to where we're at right now in the anime. So it's going to be quite some time before we even get another series, but at least we know that there is a very good chance that we'll see something like that. Now, this last part is another really cool thing to see. It says, keep watching until the very end on the last episode. Apparently, there'll be something special. Now, this could be a very number of things. This could be everything showing their new app that they've been promoting on Twitter to maybe even a small preview. I mean, not a preview for the movie, but maybe, something to promote the movie in a certain way. Or it could be, that tease for the next series. Either way, the fact that they mentioned it is means it's going to be something worth watching, and it's going to be something that everyone's going to be real excited about. So I, for one, cannot wait. I know we have a while. We're barely, we have a whole month pretty much until we get to that last episode, but I think that Toriyama is not going to do us dirty, and we are all going to end this series, Dragon Ball Super, with a smile on our face, and we're going to be excited to whatever's going to come next. But before we close this out, I do want to say I am very slightly disappointed that the one thing we did not get from this interview is I absolutely need to know, what is Dr. Rota's special power? I want to know why they call him Dr. Rota. I need to know this. And they did not give me this information. I don't know if I can end Super without knowing that, what it is. So someone better get a hold of Toriyama and find out, because I'm going to lose my mind if I do not get that answer. But anyways, that's all the information we have. Again, I will probably tweet it out once we get the full translated interview. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks again for watching. If you guys liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up to show your support. And also don't forget to subscribe if you are not already. You guys can also follow me on other social media platforms such as Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. I'll leave all that information here on the screen. But yeah, I have other content over there that sometimes that I don't feel I should do a video for, that would just be easier if I just tweeted it out or posted it. So make sure you guys check out my other stuff. But thanks again for watching, and I will catch you guys later.